Norway, a land of fjords and folklore, is now at the center of a unique historical mystery. A new documentary, The Old Wave: Material History in Cool and Crazy, has sparked an unexpected debate among historians, artists, and archaeologists. What started as an exploration of Norway's cultural artifacts has turned into an astonishing revelation, one that questions the very nature of material history. It all began when a team of filmmakers, led by Norwegian director Lars Helvig, set out to document Norway's forgotten material culture. The project was intended to be a celebration of ancient craftsmanship, Viking artifacts, medieval church carvings, and traditional woodwork. But as the team dug deeper, they found something that defied logic. In a small coastal village near Trondheim, they discovered an object unlike anything seen before. It was a wooden carving shaped like a wave, yet adorned with patterns that seemed out of place, modern, almost futuristic. The artifact had been buried deep under layers of sediment, suggesting it was centuries old, and yet the carvings on its surface showed a style that no recorded Norwegian culture had ever used. The carving that shouldn't exist, experts were called in to examine the artifact. Was it Viking in origin? Unlikely. The carving style was completely different from any known Viking designs. Medieval? No records of such work existed. Could it have been a hoax? If so, it would have required an artist with knowledge of techniques that weren't developed until the 20th century. Yet the wood itself dated back at least 800 years. The locals had their own theories. Some believed it was the work of a forgotten artist, someone ahead of their time. Others whispered of ancient myths, stories of craftsmen who could see into the future, carving what they saw in their visions. But the most radical theory came from an unexpected source, a historian named Erik Mikkelsen, who had spent years studying unusual artifacts in Northern Europe. Mikkelsen proposed that the carving wasn't merely an artistic creation, it was a message. The patterns, he explained in the documentary, are not just decorative, they resemble something I've seen before in scientific diagrams. When superimposed onto modern wave simulation graphs, the carvings match the patterns of ocean currents mapped by contemporary technology. How could an artist from 800 years ago have carved something that perfectly mirrored modern hydrodynamic patterns? An unexplained connection. The discovery sent shockwaves through the academic community. Some dismissed it as coincidence, but others saw it as a potential breakthrough. If the carving was genuine, it suggested that ancient Norwegians had knowledge far beyond what we currently understand. But this was just the beginning. As Helvig's team continued their research, they stumbled upon yet another mystery, one that would take them even deeper into the unexplored corners of Norwegian history. Following the revelation of the mysterious wave carving, director Lars Helvig and historian Erik Mikkelsen expanded their search. If ancient Norwegians had knowledge of advanced hydrodynamics, where did it come from? Was this an isolated anomaly, or were there more artifacts waiting to be discovered? Their search led them to an unlikely place, a small, privately owned library in Bergen known as the Hidden Archive. This collection, maintained by a family of historians for generations, held thousands of handwritten manuscripts, sketches, and ancient texts that had never been fully studied. Among them was a peculiar set of drawings that immediately caught Mikkelsen's attention. These sketches, dated between the 12th and 14th centuries, depicted ocean waves in a way that mirrored modern fluid dynamics studies. One particular drawing, found in a forgotten ledger, showed a detailed diagram of what appeared to be a tsunami prediction system. The notes beside it described how water currents could be mapped based on unseen forces, words that eerily resembled modern chaos theory and wave physics. A forgotten genius? The notes were signed with an unfamiliar name, Halldor the Mad. This name did not exist in any official Norwegian historical records, but local folklore spoke of a man who lived on the coast during the late 13th century. According to legend, he was a craftsman and mystic, known for predicting storms with uncanny accuracy. Some believed he was simply gifted, while others claimed he had access to knowledge that no one else understood. The most unsettling part? The handwriting in Halldor's notes matched an inscription found on the mysterious wave carving from Trondheim. Mikkelsen was convinced that Halldor was the key to understanding the artifact. If these writings are authentic, he explained in the documentary, it means someone in medieval Norway had a grasp of fluid mechanics centuries ahead of their time. But how? Theories ranged from lost indigenous knowledge to secret exchanges with foreign scholars. Some even speculated that Halldor's insights came from something beyond human understanding, a theory that would take an even more bizarre turn when Helvik's team discovered what lay beneath a centuries-old church in Stavanger. The secret beneath the church, following a lead from one of Halldor's texts, the filmmakers and historians arrived at St. Olav's Church, a medieval structure rumored to have hidden underground passages. With permission from local authorities, they conducted a ground-penetrating radar scan, and what they found was astonishing. Beneath the church was a sealed-off chamber, untouched for centuries. Inside, they found carvings similar to the Trondheim artifact, but far more intricate. Some resembled mathematical equations, while others depicted unknown symbols that bore striking similarities to later Renaissance scientific drawings. The most chilling discovery was an engraving on the stone wall, barely legible after centuries of erosion. It was a phrase in Old Norse that translated to, "The waves whisper the future to those who listen." As Helvik's team prepared to open the sealed chamber, they realized they might be on the verge of something even greater than they had imagined. What lay inside could rewrite Norway's history forever. As Lars Helvik's team carefully removed the stones sealing the underground chamber beneath St. Olav's Church, anticipation turned into an eerie silence. The air inside was stale, untouched for centuries. The camera crew hesitated, their lenses capturing a moment that felt like stepping back in time. What lay inside the chamber would not only challenge historical understanding, but also send waves through the scientific community. The forgotten manuscripts at the center of the chamber, illuminated by the flickering beams of their flashlights, was a wooden chest, its surface covered in strange carvings, symbols matching those found on the Trondheim wave artifact. When the team carefully pried it open, they found a collection of ancient manuscripts wrapped in animal skin. The writings inside were even more astonishing. Detailed diagrams of ocean currents, wave formations, and celestial alignments suggested that Halldor the Mad had not only studied hydrodynamics, but had also linked ocean movement to astronomical cycles. Some pages even outlined mathematical equations that bore a striking resemblance to concepts developed centuries later in modern fluid mechanics. A single phrase written repeatedly across different pages stood out: "The old wave returns." A knowledge lost and rediscovered. As Mikkelsen and the other historians analyzed the texts, they came to a stunning realization. Halldor's knowledge was not just ahead of his time, it predicted natural disasters with an understanding that should have been impossible for the medieval world. One of the manuscripts detailed a massive oceanic event, described almost exactly like a tsunami. But the most disturbing part? The date written next to it suggested it was a prophecy for a disaster that had not yet happened. Was this an early understanding of cyclical oceanic patterns like El Niño and other climate phenomena? Or was there something even more mysterious at play? The final puzzle, a connection to the modern world. As the documentary neared completion, the filmmakers uncovered one last connection. A team of Norwegian marine scientists, unaware of the discovery, had recently published a study showing that certain deep-sea currents near Norway follow long-term cycles that repeat over centuries. Their data eerily matched Halldor's calculations from the 13th century. Could it be that Halldor, through sheer observation or unknown sources of knowledge, had understood something about the ocean's hidden rhythms, something only modern science was beginning to grasp? The Old Wave returns. As the Old Wave, material history in Cool and Crazy reached its final scene, Helvig left the audience with one lingering question. Did Halldor the Mad truly predict the future, or had history simply forgotten knowledge that was once understood? The mystery remains, but one thing is certain. Material history is not just about the past. Sometimes it whispers to us about what is yet to come.